Hello friends, it's me Mahrose Technology Wali from Rehanschool Manavar campus and welcome to another exciting episode of our podcast. Today I am truly honored to be joined by a very special guest all the way from the United States, Professor Keith Hazel, an esteemed agent, professor of communication at the University of Tampa. He is not only a respected educator but also a passionate communicator who has worked with diverse students and professionals across cultures. Today, we will dive into topics that connect Pakistan and America from across culture, communication, and media to education and global youth empowerment. So let's begin this inspiring conversation. Assalamu alaikum, sir. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And how are you?
I am so happy that today I am getting podcast with you, and thank you so much. You give me your precious time and having a podcast with me. So, sir, my first question is that can you tell us about your journey into the field of communication and how you became a professor at the University of Tampa?
Well, I started off many years ago. Um, my first college university degree was in literature, British literature, and I thought I would be a college professor. But this was in 1968, and I wound up in Vietnam teaching English in the Air Force, U.S. Air Force, teaching English as a second language to the Vietnamese military. I stayed with the Air Force for 8 years, did things, and I started doing more things that were not teaching so much as they were more management and communication. And I decided I would get a second degree. I got a degree, a second bachelor's degree in business management. Had to take an elective course, just something outside the required ones. And there was something called Introduction to Public Relations. And I said, that sounds very easy. I can do that. So I signed up, started reading the book, and I said, oh my goodness, this is what I did in the Air Force for 6 years. I didn't know that's what it was called. So changed my focus to public relations and communication, left the Air Force, went into the government, civil service in public affairs, moved up through the ranks for a few years, decided, okay, this has been fun, but it's not too much. Left the government, went to work in the private sector, and moved forward about 15 years or so. And I got a call from a friend one day at a university in Boston, Massachusetts, where I was living. She said, you're always over here talking to our public relations students. Would you be interested in teaching? And I go, blah, 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 blah. And she says, are you interested or are you not? Yes, I am. Okay, good. I have you scheduled for an interview tomorrow morning. Be here. Yes, ma'am. So there it was. I was hired to teach a graduate course in public relations. Once I got into the classroom, I was like, I like this. I missed this. I had been working, this was in 2000, I think 2001. Since 1978 to 2001, I had been working in public relations, communications, and all over the place. And I realized that, wow, way back when I said that at this point in my life, I would love to be in the classroom teaching. And guess what? I am. I was teaching that course. I went home one day, my telephone rang, and it was a friend from another college. Would you be interested in teaching for us? Sure. So anyway, I wound up teaching at one time I was teaching part-time at 3 different colleges. One of them offered me a permanent position. I accepted that, but I still taught. These were undergraduate courses. I taught a graduate course as a part-time professor at another college, and did this from 2001 until 2016. And then I said, okay, I've been around a long time. I think I'll retire. So my wife and I retired from our jobs. We moved from Massachusetts to Florida. And we settled in down here. I was going to Public Relations Society meetings just because that's what I do. And met someone from the University of Tampa. We chatted. About 2 or 3 days later, I get a phone call. We'd like for you to come over and talk to us. Okay. So I wound up, then it was 2017, and I wound up, or 2018, beg your pardon. And so I have been teaching part-time at the University of Tampa since then. So we're now looking at roughly 7 years. I'm retired, but still teaching. But I'll say one more thing and then I'll quit yakking so much. But what I love about teaching is I teach public relations courses. I teach writing for public relations, introduction to public relations, ethics in public relations, the different aspects. And what I do is bring real life experience into the classroom. It's not the textbook says this. No, real life said this. This is what I was doing yesterday. Here's how I do. And I think, cross my fingers on this one, I think the students benefit because it's not just textbook, it's real life. So that's where I am today, teaching, still involved in the Public Relations Society of America at different levels and having a good time.
Okay, sir, amazing. Because I guess like being a teacher is so amazing because this profession, we said it's a little bit hard, but we learn so many things. And the biggest thing is that we are spreading the knowledge and making our young generation and prepare them for our future. So it's so amazing. Sir, what inspired you to focus on communication as a career?
Very honestly, again, this goes way back. I realized when I started taking what I changed when I was taking the business courses and was taking that public relations course, and I realized that throughout my previous college career, I used to write. The professors would write. You probably had a professor like this. You need to write a 30-page paper about the fact that the sun came up this morning. And all my colleagues would go back and write, and they would work and write 30, 35 pages about something. I would write 15 pages. They would get a C or a B. I would get an A. And where I'm going with that is I didn't understand then. I was just like, I don't know why. But then when I started the public relations and started studying writing for public relations, I realized, gee, I have always written like a journalist. I don't give you a lot of stuff. I give you the facts. And that was when I really realized that I love this. And then when I got into the public relations field and started working with the media, working with our communities, working with our internal employees, I was home. This is where I want to be, is where I love being. And to this day, at one particular college, I won't mention which one it was, when I started teaching there, the public relations director for the college called me one day. She said, "Can we talk?" And I go, "Sure." And so I went to her office and she said, "We just need to be clear. I am the public relations director here, not you." I go, okay, fine. And so, but it's just, but it's just for me, it's a norm, it's natural. I didn't have to learn how to do it. I just learned, oh, this is what I am doing. How cool is this? So that's where we are today.
I can see that, sir, you are not just a good teacher, but you are also a speaker. How you define everything, because it's a sign of a good teacher who speaks too much, who explain the things like they are such a good speaker. So, sir, what are some major difference you have noticed between American and Pakistani communication styles?
I'm not that familiar with the others with the Pakistani education system, but I think my observation is that your professors truly are focusing on the basics, the requirements of professional communication, and that's good. That's a very, very good thing. And you learn by yourself as you progress in your studies. You sort of learn how to sort of step outside of the boundaries and try new things. I had an agreement when I was in Hawaii working with the Blood Bank of Hawaii. My boss, who was the president of the blood bank, and I had an agreement. I could try anything new one time. If it worked, we would continue doing it. If it didn't work, we would never do it again. And that was so cool. We did some of the most amazing outreach programs. But again, this goes back to in the classroom, your professors have to encourage you to go past your comfort zone. As I tell my students, this is something I say all the time: dive into the deep end. If you don't know how to swim, figure it out while you're going down there. And that's it. Don't just say, oh, well, I've never done that before, I won't try it. No, try it. If it works, try it, do it again. If it doesn't work, don't do it again. But I think, again, to get back to what the question, I think the similarities are there. It really depends on the individual professor. This person has to bring knowledge and experience to you.
Yeah, you are right, sir. So, I just want to ask that how can students from Pakistan improve their communication when engaging with international audience, especially in the US?
I think the first thing is don't be afraid to communicate. Reach out. And the beauty today is, just like we're sitting here, I'm in Florida, you're in Pakistan. When I was your age, we could not do this. But you do. I communicate. I stay in touch with colleagues in Europe, Asia, all over the place. And what I do is I pay attention to, and this, going to this, what students can do is find their interest area. And then if you're looking at the United States, decide where might you want to be. Do you want to be on the West Coast, California, that area there? Do you want to be on the East Coast, New York, or wherever, or Texas? Who knows? But then look at the media in that area and follow them. Follow them on Twitter. Follow them on whatever platform they happen to be on. And when the opportunity arises, connect with them. You never, ever know. You never know when you might have, or they may be working on a story and have a feeling that you can bring that one little extra thing to the conversation. But don't wait for people to come to you. Go to them. reach out to them. Don't be too creepy, stalky, but just being there. I stay in touch with reporters, media folks all over the world. And if they say something or post something that I think I can contribute to, I'll speak up. If not, I will indicate that I agree with what they're saying, just to remind them that I'm here in case they want someone else. But again, it's got to be proactive. You have to reach out.
Okay, yes, sir, you are right. Because if we need to improve ourselves and get something, so of course, first we have to try it. So, sir, how do American universities like the University of Tampa support international students, especially from South Asia?
This, it's I can't speak, too deeply to. They're very open to, and I know at my classroom, my classes, I very seldom have anyone from Asia, which is kind of interesting. But this is here, Florida. A bigger percentage seems like of our international students come from South America. That makes sense. We're right beside each other. But they are open and welcoming. It's you come in here, don't expect them to absolutely even know where your country is. It's in today's world. Some people, I get blank stare. My wife, going aside here, my wife is Asia. Her family are in Taiwan, and once in a while I'll be talking to someone here in Tampa, and I'll say, we're going to Taipei, Taiwan. Oh, where is Taipei? Hello. So, you may have to, if you come here,
Yeah.
you may have to educate people as to where Pakistan is, what it's all about, and help them understand that, yes, the two countries living, professionalism, they're equal. It's just a different way of living. So sorry if I go too far down that one, but that's my thing there.
Yeah, you are right, sir. So, like, do you see opportunities for academic collaboration between universities in the U.S. and Pakistan?
I'm sorry, so I didn't quite.
Yeah, I mean, like, do you see opportunities for academic collaboration with universities in the U.S. and Pakistan?
I think it would have to be proactive. In other words, if a university, um, someone at a university is interested in connecting, they've got to do it themselves. They don't wait for someone to reach out to you. Be proactive. And
Okay.
yeah.
So, sir, what advice would you give to Pakistani students who wants to study or work in communication fields in the U.S.?
I think the only thing, and this is going to sound really basic, the only thing is just make doggone sure that I mean, this is going to sound really, really crazy, that you're able to communicate in English, because people are not going to be able to communicate in your language. And I mean, that's the simplest thing. Other than that, you come here, you become a part of your community and move forward. But you can't wait for someone to come to you. You're going to have to step out and make those connections. Go, and this, one last quick thing here is networking. I encourage students, don't just sit in your dormitory reading books. Go to professional meetings, meet with professionals, get to know them, let them get to know you. And the universities, they have a lot of their own activities and opportunities there. And if you have good professors, they'll be bringing in guest speakers, etc. But also, and I'll just go specifically with University of Tampa and public relations. We have the Public Relations Society of America Tampa Bay chapter. We have the Florida Public Relations Society Tampa Bay chapter. We have the International Association of Business Communicators. We have the American Marketing Association. So there are these professional opportunities that you as a student can go to. You will meet professionals, you'll hear from professionals, and you'll get a better sense of what's going on and what's available or might be possible for you. But you have to be proactive.
Okay, so you're right that we have to start ourselves if we want to do something. So, how has social media changed the way people communicate across borders? Like how we are doing?
It's, you know, I realized one time when I was on vacation in Taiwan and Taipei, I said something about, and I'm just going to use this example. I referred to a young fellow that I had met in a coffee shop as being Chinese. Well, Taiwanese are Taiwanese. They are not Chinese. I posted this on social media, on Facebook, and it took about 5 minutes. Someone came at me and said, I want you to understand, but this is the idea is, to be out there, the platforms are there. You find the conversations and the people that you think are interesting, and don't immediately, I use the term all the time, creepy stalky. Don't be so weird that you're following them everywhere. But again, comment. If they say something that you think is interesting, post a comment on their page and say, this is very interesting. And if they don't respond, that's okay. But you never know. They might reach out to you. You have this opportunity now to start a conversation and see who else they may be connected with that you might be able to connect with. The opportunities are there. You just have to pick them carefully and be mindful. Again, don't be too weird with it. But be professional. I love it when someone reaches. For me, for example, I will not connect with students on Facebook. If they wish to connect, they can contact me. I'm happy to, but I don't want to be this weirdo guy who's chasing all of these students. But if you indicate that you're interested, then yeah, we're going to make this connection. And again, I go back and say this, for all the different followers that I have on Twitter or whatever platform it might be, there's a reason why we're connected. It's not just because two people cross paths. Something happened, we agreed on it, now we're doing it. But be proactive, reach out and see where it takes you.
Yeah, you are right, sir. So, thank you so much, sir, giving your special time to our podcast and share your thoughts about your profession and communication between how we can make a connection with Pakistan and America and build some more opportunities to learn from each and other. So, thank you so much, sir. You give us your precious time. One thing I want to say more is that I really love to do communicate with you. So if you are a professor, if anyone your student wants to give me, podcasts like how we do. So I really love to do podcasts with your students to learn from there, and we exchange our knowledge. So if there is anyone, I really love to do a podcast with your students.
Fantastic. I will keep that in mind, and we definitely will. Hopefully, we'll have the opportunity. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for supporting me. Bye
My
bye,
pleasure.
friends.